Bennett Auto Supply, Contender Boats, Performance Through Innovation, Navionics, We Start Where the Roads End, and Guy Harvey, artist, explorer, marine scientist, conservationist, and diver.
Listen, this Chevy Silverado is not happy. It's not happy because it's not doing anything, because it knows you have a to-do list with unchecked boxes, because it was built to constantly be on the prowl to get more done. Patience is not the Silverado's virtue. Doing is. The dependable, reliable Chevy Silverado.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
Imagine brighter futures, where doors open for Florida students every day. Imagine building a better tomorrow, where playing means we all win. Now celebrating $25 billion to education in 25 years. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Make sure you check out our website at the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.com, where you can get daily reports from our 9 captains. Also, if you'd like to be featured on our show, upload your best shots with our theme species of the week to our Facebook page, and you might be featured right here on the show. In the Captain Harry's Fishing Supply Southeast region, we have Captain Jimbo Thomas. Captain Jimbo, the snook is very popular in your region. Can you tell us why?
Yes, it is. How you doing, Rick? How you doing, Lauren?
Doing good. Go ahead. Tell us about the
So am
snooking.
I. All right.
All right. Well, that means there's been a Budweiser or two.
No, there hasn't been. Not yet.
Okay.
All right. Snook are one of the most popular game fish in the state, and they're found in just about every body of water in the southeast region. And we do catch them in deep water channels, jetties, beaches, mangrove-lined creeks and shorelines, bridges, dock and pier structure, and even freshwater lakes and canals. Those are all great places to start your snook quest. The tackle and fishing methods, they vary depending on the time of the day, the depth, and the amount of current and structure that we're dealing with. And then the baits are just as varied. Shrimp, mullet, pinfish, croakers, those are all very popular live baits, along with a lot of other stuff. Pilchards and herrings work as well. White bucktails, jig heads tipped with shrimp, trigger X and gulp lures, surface and swimming rapalas, and these are just a few of the commonly used baits. Lately, some of the best snook fishing has been from Boca Inlet north to Lake Worth Inlet, where Captain Danny Barrow, he's been fishing with live mullet and croakers in the inlets and around the bridges, and he's been doing well in the evenings on the outgoing tides. There have also been a lot of mullet on the grass flats from 79th Street, which is in Miami, and then all the way north to Lake Worth Inlet. And the snook have been following these schools of mullet and feeding on them early in the morning. And a live 6 to 8 inch mullet is what they're eating, so that's the prime bait for these snook. And they've been anywhere from slot size on up to about 18 pounds. So there are some snook out there to be had. Staying inshore, the tarpon fishing in Government Cut has been as good as it gets. Captain Bouncer Smith, I've been talking to him. He's been fishing on the south side of Government Cut off of Fisher Island. He's been using live shrimp, silver dollar-sized crabs, and live mullet when he can get them. And he's been catching tarpon up to 180 pounds. He's been fishing in the late afternoons and then into the evenings, and it's been best on the incoming tide. And then the rest of the inlets throughout the region, they've also been holding some tarpon, but nothing like Government Cut. There's also been some tarpon in the deeper holes in the bays and around the bridges of the Intercoastal Waterway. And in the bays, live crabs and mullet have been working well, and they've been biting throughout the day. And then around the bridges, fish have been feeding at night along the shadow lines. Now moving offshore, dolphin fishing along the edge of the Gulf Stream has been really good this past week, and hopefully it will continue throughout the weekend. Along the edge, we've been catching dolphin while we're kite fishing with our live baits in 120 to 180 feet of water, and they've been in small packs of 5 to 10 fish, and they've been chasing flying fish heading to the south. We've also been finding them a little further offshore, and I haven't been out further than about 1,000 feet, so I don't know if they're out further than that, but I'm sure they are. But out to about 1,000 feet, and we've been finding them under frigate birds, and again, they've been small packs or schools chasing the flying fish. We've also been trolling small lures while we're looking for those frigate birds, and the frigate birds are working over those fish, and they're showing us exactly where they are. And then what we're doing is getting on the south side, setting up a spread of live baits and intercepting those fish as they travel to the south. Or we've been pulling their small lures under the frigate birds until we locate the fish, and then we're casting live baits to them. And then any debris has also been holding fish, and there's also been some wahoo under any of that debris as well. So if you do find something floating, troll a Rapala underneath there or drop a jig, there's a good chance you'll get a wahoo. Most of the dolphin have been schoolies, but there have been a few decent fish mixed in up to about 30 pounds. Now, I got a picture here. This is a 23-pound bull dolphin caught by Russ Dotson aboard the Thomas Flyer, and he was underneath the frigate bird. We caught him on a lure trolling under the frigate birds.
Hey, Jimbo, before we go offshore, Lauren's got a picture from a guy who caught a fish in your region that she wants to share.
Yeah,
Okay.
I sure do, Jimbo. One of my dear friends and quite the angler himself on his off days. This is Ryan Hunter-Ray. He's the 2012 IZOD IndyCar Series champion for Andretti Autosport and Team Chevy, as a matter of fact. So he caught this pretty little bull dolphin about 800 feet off of Delray Beach. And like I said, this is what he does on his off days. And when this poor guy goes back to the office, he's at the helm of 700 horsepower worth of Chevy Performance. So he knows a little bit about that stuff Ed Bailey was telling us about a few weeks ago.
You know what was so cool, Jimbo, when we were talking about this picture, he had, referenced schoolies and all kinds of stuff, and he was getting ready, like happens on the Thomas Flyer all the time, getting ready to wrap it up and come home.
Does.
And all of a sudden, this big bull dolphin showed up.
I'm thinking it's a shame a guy that's nice doesn't get to do anything cool in life,
Yeah,
Maybe we should invite him to be in our audience or something.
Of course.
We should.
That's your
Driving
call.
race
That's your people, man. You got to bring him in. All right, Jimbo, go ahead. Let's tell us what else is happening offshore in your region, bud.
All right, you got it. Well, grouper season opened yesterday, and we're going to go out there and see if we can actually catch a few. Any of the wrecks from 100 to 240 feet of water throughout the region, they should be holding black and gag grouper. And what we like to use is a big live bait, like a live goggle eye, speedo, blue runner, or grunt. Drift those over the structure, and it should produce as long as the big amberjack doesn't eat the bait first. That is a problem this time of the year. There's a lot of amberjacks out there. I'm going to plan on catching my grouper by trolling red and white Rapala X-Wrap Magnums. I'm going to go down the outside reef in 20 to 30 feet of water. Going to start at Government Cut, work south to Triumph Reef, and then if we don't have our limited grouper by then, we'll go inside onto the patch reefs in Hawks Channel, work our way back to Key Biscayne. Now, most of the groupers that we catch on the outside reef and on the wrecks, those are black groupers and gag groupers. And then on the inside patch reefs, we start to see more red grouper along with the blacks and gags. And remember that the blacks and gags have to be 24 inches and the reds 20 inches.
All right, great job from the Captain Harry's Fishing Supply region, Jimbo. I'm going to go ahead and get to the hot spot from the southeast region. Captain Jimbo says inshore, fish the south or north side of Government Cut for some of the best tarpon action of the year. And then offshore, look for a mixed bag of sailfish, mahi, kings, blackfin tunas, kite fishing with live baits in 120 to 180 feet of water, Lauren.
Okay, now let's head back up to the northeast region. Captain Russell Theron, share with us what you will about the snook in your waters.
Hey, how you doing, Lauren? Hey, Rick. You know something? I guess a lot of people might think that we don't have some good snook fishing, but we sure do have some great snook fishing up here in Northeast Florida. This has really blown my mind because I had a great chance to talk with Captain Chris Holdeman with Blue Cyclone Charters here out of Jacksonville. Now, he's a long-time great guide. Now, he's caught more snook and bigger snook than anybody I know. Now, he said that the best fishing in the St. Johns River for the snook is in early spring when it first warms up and the first of winter when it first cools down. The best locations in the river are near freshwater springs in 7 to 15 foot of water where the water is basically brackish. So what Captain Chris is doing, he says that the tide really doesn't matter as long as the water is moving. Captain Chris likes to rig his reels when he's snook fishing with 10-pound braided line or up to in a 30-pound fluorocarbon leader. Now, his favorite topwater lures are like a walk the dog type style, like a Spook Junior in the bone color or a mullet imitation. Captain Chris also likes to use a what they call a long A bomber lure or use live mullet. That's one of his favorites. Captain Chris's biggest snook in the Jacksonville area topped 15 pounds, and he also says the typical size for the snook they catch are anywhere from 1 to 10 pounds. In fact, he told me that he had a snook today. Now, I've got a great photo of Captain Chris taking his dad, Frank Holloman, fishing, and they caught a real nice snook there here in Northeast Florida. That's a great picture of him and his dad fishing.
All right, what else you got inshore, Russell?
Inshore, Rick, it's all been about the trout, man. The trout fishing has been great. Captain Lawrence Piper of the Art Anglers Mark has been catching some really good numbers of sea trout in the St. Johns River and the Intercoastal Waterway. Now, what he's doing, he's targeting the points of the creek mouths during the ebb tides in the clear water. He focuses on areas where there's lots of bait. Now, the topwater plugging is working well early in the morning and late in the afternoon. As the sun gets up, he's going to a quarter ounce or a 3/8 ounce hook-up jig head with a 4-inch Trigger X Gray Ghost shrimp. Or you can use a 5-inch saltwater assassin bone diamond shad jerkbait. Now, that'll get the job done. Typical size, 1 to 3 pounds.
All right, let's get the job done offshore there, Russell.
Well, I've got a photo I'm sharing here.
I'm sorry.
Rick, 1 second. A big Captain Lawrence had sent me in a big old bossy back gator over 6 pounds that Susan Hitchcock caught fishing on a live shrimp under a popping cork in the Nassau River with Captain Lawrence on the Angler's Mark.
Hey, great.
But that's right, Rick. I'm going to my offshore report brought by a reactor. Hey, I got a quick story. I'll make this real fast. I was coon hunting the other night with Marcel. Marcel said, "My Lord," he says, "I see your watch is glowing." He says, "What's that thing running on?" I said, "It's running on nuclear fission." So he got really excited about that. He said he's going to go get him one.
All right,
Offshore report.
Okay, go, baby.
Robert Johnson has been tearing up the big dolphin out on the ledge. Look for the dolphin on the tide lines and the temperature breaks, especially where the water temperature is in the mid-70s. Look for birds, bait, and some debris. Troll full of dolphin or slow troll at 7 to 8 knots. And you want to use a blue and white Islander lures or a skirted ballyhoo or naked ballyhoo to get the bite. Typical size of the dolphin, Rick, are running anywhere from 10 to 25 pounds.
What else is
also
offshore?
Today, this is, of course, the first day of our grouper season here in Northeast Florida. But, oh, Lord, wouldn't you know that our seas now are at the sea buoy here at STM is topping 6.5 foot. So you guys watch your forecast the next couple of days. I know we're chomping at the bit to get out there, but there are small craft warnings for this weekend, so you want to be careful. But some of the best locations you're going to find a grouper are on artificial reefs and wrecks just inside the ledge, like BR and Elkton Bottom. And just like Archie said at the strike zone last week, you definitely want to catch your 2 or 3 dozen pinfish before you head offshore. And if you don't, take that sabiki rig with you and try to catch your Boston mackerel or some cigar minnows for bait. And just like Captain Jimbo said, 24 inches is the minimum size limit for the gag grouper here. And the typical size for the gag grouper are going to run anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds, Rick.
Oh, man, Russell, I got to tell you, that might have been one of the best, most comical reports you've given since day one, and I appreciate all that enthusiasm. I love it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get to the strike zone hotspots from the Northeast region. Captain Russell says inshore, catch big sea trout with topwater plugs early in the morning and late in the afternoon. You're going to fish the points in the creek mouths, and then offshore, Target dolphin in 150 to 1,000 feet of water. Locate those temperature breaks in 74 to 76 degrees. And then you're going to use a skirted ballyhoo, not to be mistaken for a naked ballyhoo, as Russell would say.
Yeah, don't want that. You know what? I'm thinking we better be careful. We might lose Captain Russell to all those fishing shows on Comedy Central if we're not careful.
Could be.
They might. We might. All right. When we return, guys, we're going to have the Costa Conservation Minute and visit Captain Jim Ross in the Central East. Stay with us.
We got a circus going on here, man. Circus.
What about his enthusiasm, though, honestly? I need to start walking.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Rapala. Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Reactor, the best built performance sports watch, period. STARTRON, cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Strike Zone Fishing. Sufix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. And YAMAHA, reliability starts here.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America, always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
Imagine brighter futures, where doors open for Florida students every day. Imagine building a better tomorrow, where playing means we all win. Now celebrating $25 billion to education in 25 years. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
Have you ever wanted to go to a place where the fish are big and wild? Have you ever wanted to fish a flat and never see anyone else? Have you ever wanted to dive your very own tropical reef? Have you ever wanted to watch the sun go down on a 90-foot mothership with 10 of your friends? Sea Hunter, the ultimate Caribbean adventure.
You already know about the La Jolla Resort in Isla Morada, so let's talk about the La Jolla experience. With an on-site boat ramp, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic is just minutes away. And when you return from fishing, there's barbecue pits to cook your catch while your family enjoys the pool or one of our new remodeled rooms. This historic resort, the La Jolla, is family-owned and operated and has a friendly staff ready to make your La Jolla experience a really great one.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation.
Today's Costa Conservation Minute is about taking a kid fishing. Now in the Murphy house, when we first started taking our kids fishing, the most important thing was that we didn't have expectations of being out there all day. Make it fun and interesting. Make it so that they catch lots of fish, whether it's jacks or ladyfish or trout. When a child can catch something every single minute of the day, then it becomes fun for them. The other thing that comes to mind is it's not something that you have to do necessarily off of a boat. It's something that you can do off of a bank somewhere. It's something that you can do off of a pier or maybe even a jetty or a beach. The key is, guys, that they have to have lots of fish to catch, and when so doing that, then they will be entertained. The other thing that really works well is if there's a bobber for them to watch. When that bobber goes down, the excitement level goes up. Those are a couple key things in keeping it fun and interesting for kids, and that's today's Costa Conservation Minute. You know, the tradition of fishing and hunting outdoors, they only learn it one way. There's no computer game that's going to teach them about being out there, Lauren. So
get out there and do it.
When you and Tony have kids, you call your fishing guide. I'll take them fishing.
I'll be sending them to your house.
Just saying.
To live.
Just saying.
Okay.
All right.
Captain Jim Ross has been waiting for us in the Central East. Captain Jim, it sounds like the snook action has been improving in your area. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, it sure has, Lauren. You know, the slot-sized snook have been in the inlets, especially Sebastian, but they're also showing up in Port Canaveral and at Ponce during the nighttime periods. Large hookup jigs and those big bucktails, and of course 5 to 7 inch swim baits seem to be getting the best numbers of fish for the guys that are throwing the artificial lures. And live bait fishermen should try pinfish, pogies, and mullet. The best bite has been on the outgoing tide this past couple of days, but we could also see that turn around and come to the incoming tide during the nighttime period. So don't overlook that switch of the tide coming first of the incoming as well. Now, the Indian River waters between Vero and Grant is pretty good too. You know, captains like Glenn Austin have been catching decent amount of under slot-sized snook and a few slot-sized snook on the incoming flood tides as they work onto the flats in those areas. Live pinfish and croakers have been working well there too, especially the little bit smaller ones that we're getting in the river right now. And then Rapala X-Raps, or there's a brand new Rapala plug called a Scatter Wrap. And that thing not only wiggles, but swerves from side to side. That thing's incredible, and it's been catching a lot of fish for the guys that have tried using it lately. The blackback seems to be working real good right now, silver size or gold size if you're fishing in some of those outflows. The size 10 and 12 has been working best. So don't go too big on the bait right now, especially in those little small tributaries. Now, from Vero Beach to Melbourne Causeways, they've also been pretty good there during the early morning and evening periods as well. And the entrance at the Sebastian River where it comes into the Indian River, that's had some really big snook, and this is a really good place to fish for trophy-sized fish first thing in the morning. The other fish that we've got right now on the inshore that's popular is one of my favorites, and that's the redfish. They're running in all 3 lagoons this week, the soft plastic jerk baits, or a shrimp rigged on, or the plastic shrimp that is, rigged on a weighted worm hook seem to be pretty good choices. Now, also, because we've had a lot of overcast lately, the small topwater plugs, like the little chug bugs and the little skitterwalks, have been working really well also. You just have to work them a little bit slower than normal because they're imitating those finger mullet that are out in the lagoon system right now. And of course, live shrimp or cut baits like ladyfish and pogies and mullet and some of those other things are also working good, especially during the midday periods when the fish seem to be a little less aggressive. Now, I had out Des O'Brien and his son Robbie, and Robbie got his first redfish, and we've got a picture of it here, and he caught that on a piece of cut bait. Using a VMC 3/0 circle hook, and we were fishing in the south end of Mosquito Lagoon. Now, anybody, you were talking just a minute ago, Rick, in the Conservation Minute from COSTA, that anybody can take kids out and do that. This type of fishing, you have to have a kid who's patient, but you can catch fish if you get out there and do it. And then offshore, the king mackerel, the slow troll with the live bait seems to be the big thing right now. 70 to 90 foot reefs throughout my region is working real good. You want to use a double hook wire stinger rig. That way you avoid cutoffs. And if the water's a little bit dirty, you can always dress that bait fish up with a skirt or a duster, and that'll oftentimes improve your bite. In this area, pink, chartreuse, and pearl color seem to work best historically. Now, I'm not saying that blue and purple won't work too, but those 3 colors, pink, chartreuse, and pearl, seem to day in and day out consistently catch those fish that are averaging 12 to 18 pounds. But a lot of them right now are going over 30 pounds. And I've got a photo of what can happen when you're trying to get to the reef and the brown fish show up. I've got Carl Luschner and his buddy Ronnie from the Drain Wizard fishing team right here in Cocoa, and those guys were out with me on a trip. They had 2 double hookups on cobia while we were out running around the other day looking for some of those fish. And I just wanted to say, thanks to those guys. They did a great job on my bathroom, and I hopefully did a great job getting them on some fish.
All right, before, wait. Before we go to groupers, I got to say something. Guys, great job on the cobias. The one thing I want to try to tell all our viewers that's watching, please, guys, when you hold those fish, make them really look big. Turn them horizontal instead of vertical so that we're actually just push them out towards the camera and make them look good. And I tell you one thing, I'll be able to use those pictures throughout the rest of my life, which might only be a week with this one. All right, let's go ahead and go offshore. Tell me about the groupers.
You know what, Rick? Those things were actually over 50 pounds. Ronnie and Carl are actually like 7'3".
All right, well, yes, let's make them that way. I hear you. Tell me about the groupers, Jim.
Hey, groupers opening up on the 1st of the month, and I'm telling you, these guys in the Central East region could not be happier. The gags, scamps, and reds are all, out there for us to go catch, and they're fantastic tasting fish. So everybody that hasn't had a chance to catch them this year so far is looking forward to it. Now, you want to use live baits on a standard bottom rig with an 80 to 100-pound test leader. And the larger the bait you can find, the better, because there's a lot of red snapper out here in the Central East region, and you want to try and keep those red snapper off your line while you're trying to get those gags on your line. The 21, 27-fathom ridges out of Sebastian and Ponce, and Sebastian and the Port, and then the 28-fathom ridge out of Ponce is the places where you want to look for them. Also, on that deeper 240 to 260-foot Ocalina reef, that's called the cones or the steeples in this region, and you're going to encounter less snapper there, but you'll get more big grouper in that area.
All right, good job, Jim. Thanks for sending in those pictures, and I'm going to go ahead and get to the Central East hotspots from your region. Inshore, redfish in the Mosquito Lagoon use live shrimp or cut baits in sandy potholes in 1 to 3 feet of water. And then offshore, grouper between the 21-fathom ridge and the cones use large live baits like blue runners or pinfish, Lauren.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
I know you weren't talking about me earlier. Guys, on the other side of the break, we'll tell you which fish we'll be talking next week, so stick around.
Kids in the house.
Imagine brighter futures, where doors open for Florida students every day. Imagine building a better tomorrow, where playing means we all win. Now celebrating $25 billion to education in 25 years. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
The Johnsons, right?
Yeah.
Which house is yours?
The one with the Silverado up front.
So, what do you do?
Well, nice.
And Bingo was his name.
The Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickups on the road. For work, for life, Chevy Silverado.
Hi. I lost a big fish earlier today. Wasn't using Sufix. It was about this big.
Look, slow down there, cowboy, okay? A fish in the lost it van, huh? You want your fish. Sorry, honey, that fish is gone.
Always use the best line, Sufix 832.
It's got the punch of a heavyweight and the pounds of a lightweight. Welcome to the main event featuring the new Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Tipping the scales at up to 142 pounds lighter than its 4-stroke competitors. That's a class-leading power-to-weight ratio, a haymaker of a whole shot, surprising mid-range punch, incredible fuel economy, and industry-leading innovation, performance, and reliability. The Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Reliability starts here.
If you like fishing or the history of fishing, then I have a must-see place for you. The IGFA Fishing Hall of Fame and Museum in Dania Beach. What makes the IGFA so cool is that they have theaters where you can learn about the journey of fishing, galleries where the kids can see antique reels or catch a big one. The Hall of Fame room has over 140 beautiful fish mounts, and maybe in the E.K. Harry Library, you may see a live alligator. For more family fun, go to igfa.org.
Fish Stock, the total saltwater experience, returns to New Smyrna Beach this Memorial Day weekend. Bring the whole gang to Riverside Park for an incredible family experience. Tournaments, boat shows, seminars, kids clinics, and the Fish Stock 5K Fun Run. Visit fishstock.com to register for the Offshore Striker Tournament with an expected payout of nearly $100,000 in cash and prizes. Or the Redfish Trout Challenge with an expected payout of $15,000 in cash, prizes, and much more. Fish Stock, Memorial Day weekend in New Smyrna Beach. Don't miss this one.
Next week on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, we'll be talking wahoo. Make sure to check us out next Thursday, May 9th. You can catch repeats on Friday and Saturday. Just visit Sun Sports and your local listings for more details.
Hey, you can see I got a lot of kids here. Well, guess what? As we said at the top of the show, take your kids to work. I brought mine, and they brought all their friends, and You know, I mean, we got it going on. Phil, thanks for coming. Dave, great job tonight. Lauren, same to you. But you know what? We do have one little special thing that we have to do. You got to make sure you watch Sportsman's Adventures because we're really catching some great fish from the Panhandle. But we also got Grandma, and it's her birthday.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
That's Kathy's mom. That's part of the live audience. Thanks for watching, guys.